Yes, people, welcome back to the Hub Spot. It's Drex and Tesh right here. Today we're gonna be looking at taking a you know how we do it. We like to take a day off and rewatch the game. So we're doing a post game review between the Brentford and Manchester United. We all saw the game. It was 1-1. That was the score line. That's the stats that counts. It's 1-1. But yeah, in depth, you a lot of United fans weren't happy with the result. And though we took the lead, but we were pegged back, and it wasn't a great performance to say the least. But yeah, we're here. We like to take it a day off to calm down, so we don't speak of emotions because emotions will be high at the end of the game and all of that, right? So yeah, that's why we most of the time I myself and Tesh we'd like to do this. We like to rewatch the game, which Tesh did, I did. We rewatched the game, saw the game all over again and get a new and fresh perspective as to what went wrong. And yeah, before we start this show, I'm just gonna say, how are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, I hope you all are taking it easy. The season is almost done, so I just urge United fans to just take it one game at a time. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be too hard on the team. The new system is coming as at the time we're doing this video. I hear Wilcox is already joining. He's resigned. He's left Southampton and he's joining United. So guys, the lights, like we say, we might just be get edging closer to that light that we have been seeing from away far at the end of the tunnel. So Tesh, how you doing? How you feeling today? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling. I think I'm fine. I'm fine. It's when you look at United performance, the reason why probably it doesn't really throw me off. Neither do I get shocked. It's more so I expect it, right? I think if you notice, right, every time we do the possible outcome, there's this hesitation, right? When we look at United, right, I try to at least say I'm very, very, very cautious, right? Because in terms of how I know how the team is, in terms of how they actually perform, and in
Yeah.
that what they called I try to lower my expectations. I shouldn't though, but it's reality. We are not there yet, and I don't think we'll be there next season. So I wasn't really shocked when honestly, it was a boring game. Like someone was saying, well, if we had won that game, that's basically scam. We would have scammed, what do you call it, Brentford for a win. Would have scammed them for a win, right?
Yeah, I
So,
know what you mean, bro. I
so
know.
I think it was.
Because yeah, it doesn't really, because when you see the score line 1-1, um it feels like what should we call it? The if you look at the score line, be like, okay, maybe United were more on the upper hand as to Brentford. But if you actually watch the game in real time, you will find out that Brentford were actually, for me, Brentford, if they had lost that game, I would have been happy on the one hand based on the fact that I'm a United fan, but truly in depth, I'll be cursing because I'm like, why? I'll be feeling too bad for Brentford because they deserved the win. They deserve at least a point from the game because United were poor on the night. United were poor. Let's not kid ourselves. United were poor on that in that game, right? Although the stats will tell you otherwise, the main stat is what I look at, which is the final result. But if you look at every other stat, the ball possession, it says United had more of the ball, 53% to 47, which in my opinion was more like a 50-50 kind of thing. But look at this. Just check this out. They had 31 attempts on goal. We had just 11. They had 5 shots on goal. We had 5 shots on goal as well. So though we limited them to actually taking shots from outside the 18 yard and all of that, right? It wasn't good. They had 14 corners to United's 4. Bro, looking
So
at that
you
game,
know,
all I
you know,
could say was it's disgusting. That performance.
for me, I try not to look at those what they call those stat pricing. It's okay for them to have like these short possessions, but I think most is what you do
Yeah.
with it, right? And
Mhm.
and if you see Brentford came in, and that's why everyone wants to everyone wants to come and take like when it comes to United, everyone wants to come and let me do my best. I can guarantee you, if you have Ivan Tony playing in United for 1 year,
Mm.
right? The upper year, it would not give that kind of a performance. It wouldn't.
Yeah.
It wouldn't, right? So when it comes to United, right, everyone wants to, okay, let me give my best, right? Let me try to, because they believe, well, we are there for the taking. And that's because
Yeah.
how we basically positioned ourselves. So for
Set
me,
up. Yeah.
this it's fine, but I think that even at that, I wasn't really concerned with how the shots and everything. They were aggressive. I'm more concerned that we couldn't actually control the game. We couldn't control the ball, right? They can have attempts, it's fine. They can have counters and have attempts, it's fine. But we should be able to control our own, right? And in that, when we control our own, make proper use of it. We did not. I didn't see us scoring. Even when Macy Man scored, I was actually shocked. Like, how did we just score? Right, but again, I know that stats have been going around Twitter. Everyone is going sack the manager XYZ. But in reality, though, like when you look at that match, man for man, can you actually say the boys actually played the game? Key players, figures in that team. Do you think they actually played well? Do you think they gave it their all? Right. So there's a huge problem at United. The manager might not be what they call it, might not be the one to take us to the next level. But I believe the manager needs what they call one more season to actually establish that. We should be changing certain players in that pitch. We should be changing certain players in that squad. And big names should actually be called out. For years, I can guarantee if Rashford was probably bought from XYZ, or Rashford was bought from what they call from Ajax, Rashford would not be playing, even if it was bought 100 million. We actually bought Lukaku 80 million or so, and we sold him back. Rashford was bought from somewhere. He won't be playing. If Rashford wasn't the tag, I'm born and bred in Manchester, and that's why do we have so much? We'll probably go into that later, but I'm just getting a bit heated here. Too much sentimentality in the game. Except Rashford has a huge strength and power over even the owners. Because if I'm the owner of the club, no, because to me, if I'm owner of the club, if I watch that, I'm not playing for my team again. No. Not the first time. I said that what they call last time when Ragnick was there, right? That season, that was the last season for I was saying that was the last season for Rashford last season. But again, I'm not sure. Like, actually, I don't know. Like, honestly, if I can go to United, be like a flower in the wall, understand? Does Rashford own United? I want to understand, but actually, he does. He owns the Glazers. He owns Jim Ratcliffe. He owns Scott.
Yeah.
I can't see someone disrespect a whole organization in the pitch and still play the next game. He owns the club.
So I think that's the a bond that a lot of United fans, and even I would say to a lesser extent, right? Jadon Sancho has with Eric Ten Hag, because the man wasn't pulling up. Yes, he was your man last season, right? So are we just gonna go off last season and just to keep rewarding him based on what last season is done? The chapter is closed, the book's closed, right? So it felt like the man was just rewarding Rashford for last season, knowing fully well that this guy is actually going through tough times, through something. And even the mother came and said he was dealing with some emotional and personal issues, which I think the manager should have an idea of, right? But that's aside, I feel like yesterday's performance, right? It's not only Rashford. Like, it felt like they didn't want to play. It felt like they didn't know what they were doing. We looked so disjointed. I know it wasn't about, in terms of how the manager set up, it wasn't a balanced thing, right? You have Aaron Bissaka playing left back, which is like his second game, coming off injury, coming back from injury. Hoyland also second game back from injury. Garnacho was nowhere near the Garnacho we saw before he went off for the international break, which, in my opinion, it's okay because he's a kid. He's been playing. We've always said it before in the past, like, let this boy get some rest, right? Yeah. So that he's still young. You get a little bit of indiscipline in the way he plays, right? So that in itself, I can understand that one. That one I can understand. So, like I said, it was too disjointed. We didn't know. It felt like we didn't know how to take the ball off our end and progress it forward. Brentford were just giving us the ball. Brentford knew that okay, if they gave us the ball and we move it around, we can't even make any progressive play. All we just do is send the long one down the line towards Rasmus or Rashford or Genashu. We couldn't really pass the ball. Like I still keep on wondering, right? This is on Eric Ten Hag. I still keep wondering what are they doing on training ground that makes Eric Ten Hag say, okay, these guys would do it. Why don't you just? I used to teaching them how to pass from the back. I used to teaching them how to play out from the back. If not, if you're doing that, I think Eric Ten Hag is doing something wrong because these guys won't learn. These guys won't learn. They are too fixated on their old ways, right? So it feels like these guys are not gonna learn. They're not gonna learn. They're just gonna be doing like they say, you can't teach and hold dog new tricks. So it's for me, I think Eric Ten Hag, like a few people have said, is let him play to the strength of this players. But do we have to also do we actually keep playing like if you want to play? Because right now the kind of football that these players want, right? I don't think they can even play it. I don't think they can even play it.
let's
Do
let's
you understand?
let's break it down, right? Um, just for the purpose of time, I just want to let's look at probably it in modules. Like let's start with what they call tactics, right? Then we can move to what they call play as a whole. Then we can move to key players, right? Because again, you will agree with me, right? Whereby there are certain players, like if your key player is playing well, right? And it's like everyone, let's meet up, right? Let's meet up to what they call, let's try to match his energy. If a key player is not playing well, you tend to what they call that, okay, what am I doing this for, right? So probably to break it down in terms of the tactics though from Eric Ten Hag. Do how what impact over 100%, right? What percentage do you think affected the outcome of that game based on Eric Ten Hag's tactics?
For me, right, I feel like personnel wise, the personnels are not suiting his tactics in terms of his plan. Just we all you go into a game, you have your plan, you hope that your players execute it. Executing it's the problem, and I don't think it's the manager that is to execute his own plan. Because if the manager could divide himself into 11 places and position himself as goalkeeper all down to this attacker, I think his plan will work out properly. It's like he's saying something and all he's saying is meeting a brick wall, right? That's on the one hand. Now you flip to like that's one. Two, now these guys get on the pitch. Now maybe 5-10 minutes they try to do the manager's bidding. The minute they finds a restriction, they revert back to type. They revert back to old ways. Take for example, I did not understand why Genasho was leaving the right wing all bare yesterday and trying to be the one doing an overlap for what's his name?
Dalo?
For Rashford. No, for Rashford. A couple of times Rashford was with the ball. I saw Genasho come and try to do an overlap for Rashford. I'm like, what are you doing there? So if Rashford raised his head up to try to look for the man on the right wing, there's nobody there. It's bare. And it wasn't a coincidence that when we brought Anthony on, right, we scored. It wasn't a coincidence because there was somebody out there that could hold the ball, right? And although Anthony is not, we know Anthony is trying to still fighting for his place, right? Because last season it was good, right? But this season we've seen the other side of Anthony, and one could actually say, okay, all of the shenanigans or all of the reports all of the situation that was hovering around his head earlier in the season, right, or earlier in the year. Yeah, I think earlier in the season caught up with him, right? So he's trying to break. If for some people it's easier for them to give Rashford the benefit of the doubt as to he's dealing with stuff, but they don't give it to other players. That's another day. That's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm saying now we know, but he came in. It was Anthony will always hog the touchline. Anthony will always give you the width. Anthony will always stay out wide. Then when we are under pressure, he would come defend, right? So Anthony always offers you that width. And for me, that discipline to actually know that, okay, I need to stay out wide. Irrespective of how the game is going, let me keep my position, right? There are a few times where your football intelligence will come in and you want to do a thing or two, right? But I didn't understand it as to why he was Genashi was always doing that. That's one. Two, what's his name? McTominay. Can't understand for the life of me what that guy does other than just show up in the 18-yard box and just maybe score a goal. Now, goals win you the game, right? But if you're going to be playing, this is Eric Ten Hag. Now, if you're going to be playing on a gamble, saying, okay, McTominay will get me a goal and sacrifice the main job of a midfielder, which is to keep control of the midfield, then you might as well you feels like you don't know what you're doing, or it feels like you don't know the players that you have. Because, Tesh, remember when Ole was here, we said McTominay and Fred will get Ole sacked. Rightfully, they got Ole sacked. Tesh, remember when we hired Eric Ten Hag? One of the, if you remember properly, one of the
he said if McTominay is consistent, if he keeps picking McTominay, he will lose his job.
Okay. What does it look like is gonna happen? So so it's not like I never for once hate any United player. I don't dislike any United player. As long as you put on the shirt, I would support you. But if I see that you're not good enough, I call it out, bro. Like you're not doing what you're supposed to do, I'll call it out. It's not like I hate you or I don't like you. You score the goal for me, I scream your name. You understand? Yesterday, Messi man was coming into the pitch. What was it you and I was saying? Bro, just score the goal. We can deal with it tomorrow. We can deal with it tomorrow. Yeah. We can deal with, whether people like you or not, we don't care. Just score the goal, right? But I'm trying as much as possible not to go too hard on this player because we need to show them support, right? But showing somebody support and they're not giving you, reciprocating it, it's a tough one. Because yesterday I was seeing McTominay jogging back when you need to. The kids, Kobe and everybody was sprinting back. McTominay is jogging back. These are the same thing. That's why I say sometimes I put it on Eric Ten Hag. Sancho did the same thing and he was benched.
Yeah, so
he lost the ball. He was jogging back, and maybe his attitude, maybe it's the way McTominay.
I think is this thing, Ryan. There's this thing I probably think. Well, you do things on face value. You're like, and they're like, okay, good. But in real life, you don't, as in, that's not who you are. So I probably think in training, right, McTominay, like, he does things, but it never actualizes in what they call in a real game. For example,
in real time, real time.
I know Tevez was one that they said during training, he doesn't put much energy in training, right? Well, look at Tevez in a real match.
No, but I see a lot of people saying, why is he picking players based on training and based on performance in training? But how is he supposed to pick players?
No, I know that's I agree with you. But again, you've already have a sample size. For example,
oh yeah, I get you.
So for example, you have an employee that basically when it's in-house, right? Is he now speaking to what they call the employees, right? It's like it's the best. Like everyone raves, everyone. Then if he goes out for public speaking for the company, right? Like in a seminar, like it's timid. It's
very timid.
And you keep saying, oh, you know what, he's doing well in-house. Over probably 10 years, probably this guy cannot handle the pressure of being outside its normal comfort zone, and that's how it is. It might probably be the best in what they call in training. But in actual real life, it can't handle that pressure. It doesn't have the it doesn't have the what they call the intelligence to actually do what you want to do.
I was watching the Brighton Liverpool game yesterday, right? I know Liverpool won 2-1, right? Brighton should have actually gotten a point, an equalizer, right? You see the way the Brighton players were eluding, the Brighton players were getting out of danger. Every time they were in danger, they had the intelligence to know when to dribble. They had the intelligence to know when to do, So
for the kick game, for the what they call it, for just for time's sake, right? I know we looked at what they call it now, Eric Ten Hag's tactics. Like for me, from a tactical perspective, I think there's no way Eric Ten Hag can actually implement this because the players we have are basically mismatched. I think only 2 players in that game were actually his players he bought from the starting 11. I believe the rest were all players bought from previous match. So there's no way for me it could actually implement, right? So it doesn't there's no loyalty to these guys to him. They can actually throw him under the bus for the sake of what they call having their contracts in the future. Okay, next. Now it brings us to the players now. The biggest thing we're looking at is changing a manager. Do you think, Ryan, we should be changing some of these players?
Bro, 100%. There's no do I. 100%. 100. It's not about the matter of think. It's a matter of are they doing. You understand what I'm saying? Are they going to do it? Because we report. I don't know how if reporters will be believed. Say the likes of McTominay and a few other persons will be getting a 2-3 contract extension. For what now? For
honestly,
what?
when I heard that, I believe one thing. If Rashford and McTominay is here last season and Eric Nagy is fired, yes. Because to me, there's no manager that we see what he's seeing now and still say, you know what, Rashford can give me something next season. No.
How do you dribble past 4 players knowing fully well from the beginning of the game they've been tripling up on you and you want to take on 3 and you never went past?
Intelligence. No, it doesn't have the what they call the doesn't have the intelligence.
McTominay, on the other hand, cannot dribble. I don't know, man. The team, like looking now. One thing I was gonna say before we wrap up this thing, Wan-Bissaka is not a left back, 100%. But there's this thing Wan-Bissaka does that I don't like.
Yeah,
his lapse in concentration, right? His inability to scan, right? Because you know how they say he makes those last dish tackles and he gets the ball. I feel like if you're aware of where your defender is, you won't be making such tackle. You're not every time, right? So his weakness caught up with him yesterday, because if you see, everybody was running out of the back, pushing up to catch them on offside, right? But he was the one that was, and also, they scored a goal. He was the one. He played them on side. Like, he almost played the guy on side for that goal that was disallowed. Yeah. So it's too many. We this season, right? Most of our defeats and most of the goals we've considered are too many individual error. Too many. You can actually count how much of the defeat or how much goals we've considered that actually you say, okay, it's a collective team error. Maybe, but it's too much error, man. Too much individual error, man.
What do you think of Eric Ten Hag taking out Meno instead of McTominay and bringing in Casemiro?
Bro, if I was him, I'd do the same. I want to protect the one good thing I have.
Honestly, I thought that was what he was doing. Like, since you're all shit, then please go inside.
Let me protect the one good thing I have, bro. Let me protect what I...
there. Like, come outside. You guys play your shit.
Yeah, let me protect the one good thing I had. Yes. I have. The one good thing I have. Let me just hold on to it.
Yes.
If the man had another striker, I think he would have taken Ireland off earlier.
Yes. Honestly, you're like
this I'm going to say now before we close. I'm going to say this, and we'll talk about the positive maybe in about 2 minutes, and we wrap up the show. How can the size of United, have just one, I repeat, one out and out striker?
It's poor.
One.
It's poor.
And you expect to win the league, or you even expect to get top 4, because even if top 4 was your minimum requirement or your ceiling, how do you expect to gain that feat when you have only one striker? You knew Martial was going to go for his surgery, and you're going to basically be paying him while he's resting. You could not even bring another body in.
It's not him though. It's the board.
No, I'm not talking about. No. I'm saying how the size Manchester United is the side of Manchester United. Can't even think. Can't even think.
Yeah, with you.
You sent Reguilon. You canceled Reguilon's contract, right? And it wasn't it wasn't as if it was the end of the January transfer that you found out that Malacia and Shaw. You already knew the time you can't. How about you just say, you know what, Malacia and these guys are not going to come back. Let me just keep this guy on.
They're not that. I think with that, right, that's where you see, right, there's a huge problem, right? There's no continuity, right? You know, Ferguson used to have that, like, you know, as I have one, I know it's coming, even from the youth team, right? Even if it's not like a solid one, right? Okay, from the youth team, there's someone that's coming through that can actually play support. Like, imagine no striker from the youth team currently, right? That can come actually and support. To me, it's the board, like you mentioned on the stream, right? I recall you said Ineos, their work is cut out for them hugely because, right? It's like lots of planning, lots of what they call how can they continue business continuity? How can they have like current players? How can we have players in the pipeline? How can we have players we are scouting to create a flow, right? From that what they call scouting early phase to what they call to being in the first team, right? And developing a strong what they call youth team to support the first. So how will you do that? So they need to build a structure, and it doesn't take 1 year or 2 years. It's over time. They'll have to do that for us to be able to basically say, okay, you know what? For me, then that's when I can actually judge a manager. Like, because then
Yes,
you have
let's
everything
just talk about the positive before we call
positive.
draw the, yeah. Bro,
What?
I know. See, we can't just dwell on the negative, right?
Yeah.
Because all through we've been looking at the holes and everything in the team. It's not because it's not something. The negative is something that's been staring us for a very long time. So that's why when people talk about positive, like, why? What's the positive that you want to draw out there, bro? You have to look for something positive to hold on to because the negative have been staring us in the
In the face.
face for the longest of time. So we'd have to coin. So for me, one of the positive I took from that game is the fact that we didn't lose the game, right? Because I feel like if Brentford had scored, maybe I don't know, maybe we would have come all out to actually try to do like we did at home when they scored and we were able to get a goal at the end of the game, 2 goals, right? McTominay, right? Today it would have been game over. On Saturday it would have been game over, right? So, but the positive is we didn't lose, and Mason Mount scored, and he scored a very good goal, in my opinion. Like took it on his left, and so it was for me. If it was somebody like Rashford, I don't think that he would have scored that goal. Honestly, because Rashford would have just hit it and maybe hit it towards the keeper. Mason Mount had to take it up a bit above the keeper. So even if the keeper was trying to try to make a save, keeper was obviously going to put it back into the danger zone and maybe for a follow up or something. But that for me was a good goal, and it was I think it would boost his confidence knowing fully whether he just got back from injury and is straight on the score sheet. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for me, I think the positive, honestly, draw. I really care. I think the positive, because for me, the game was dead. Yeah, either ways.
Oh, bro, the game,
The game was
that's a
dead, right?
dead
So
game, bro. That game, now no, like that game, it is smell.
the only
It is
positive,
smell.
the only positive I see there is that while these players thought right, they are throwing the manager under the bus, is basically now showing evidentially that they are also part of the huge problem. And Ines would have seen. I know a couple of what they call it this mainstream media, the what they call they were calling out a Rashford. Well, I saw a tweet just now about Ineos probably not being frustrated with the players, right? So it's actually calling out the players. So these players are actually not it. Like you cannot bank on them. Rokin said it before. Leopards don't change their sport, and these players, right? There's a culture in the club, right? In that is affecting people now. The owners see, okay, you know, the players are the issue. Now, what's the foundation of them being an issue? And they will have to look for that because the manager to me is also an issue, but for me, I would not be changing my. It's far from it. The players, the culture in the club is mainly the issue. To me, my positive is that they are seeing that. And secondly, to your point, Mason Mount scoring, coming in, that confidence, right? That again, you're not coming from injury and getting a goal. Imagine if we had won, that'd been a huge boost for his morale. They took his shine in less than 3 minutes. And but again, it's a positive though for Mason Mount to score the game.
All right, guys, that's it. Please don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so, and leave your comment in the comment section below. We would have loved to do the player rating, but I don't think I don't want to because the game was dross. The game stinks, right? So let's just leave it at that. The positive, we've talked about the positive, and yeah, Leave your comment in the comment section below. Tell us what you think about this video. If yeah, and don't forget by I think on Monday we'll be having the possible outcome at 10 p.m. UK time, which is like 5 p.m. or 4 p.m. East, no 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also on Thursday, I think we might do the same possible outcome for the weekend games, because we have games on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, which is the match day 30th, 31st. So we're going to be looking looking over that, taking an overview of those games and possible outcome on Monday. Guys, don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you haven't done so. Thank you so much. Let us know what you think. Dash, what are you saying?
No idea.
Chelsea, who's next? Just give
Honestly,
us your final words before we
honestly,
close the
for
show.
me though, like, as in, I love United, but currently it's like you don't expect anything anymore. Like Menu was when I look at, at least I can enjoy watching Menu play, but you could see it's actually affecting this game, right? So I don't know. Like I still look forward. I'm still hoping that we come out fourth place, but I don't see us. Fifth place. I don't see us doing that. We're way far, and I think we'll lose to Chelsea, and most likely Chelsea and Liverpool. I probably see us what they call it, probably dropping points in both games. Losing or draw, I'm not sure, but I think we'll drop points in both games.
All right, thank you guys, and until we see you again, it is bye for now. Take care.